When I was 16, my parents told their friends I was the family mistake. Mom laughed, pointed at me, and said, "Birth control's only 99% effective, he's the 1%. I left that night with $40 and a backpack. 6 years later, they finally found me. Today, they showed up crying at my door, begging me to talk. Throw away for obvious reasons, and yeah, this got long. 6 years of bottled up tends to do that. I always knew I wasn't exactly the golden child in my family. My brother Morris was the planned one, good grades, varsity jacket, the whole package. I was, well, according to my mom's dinner party jokes, what happens when you trust cheap pharmacy brand condoms. Hilarious, right? She'd been making that joke since I was like 8. I grew up thinking it was normal for your mom to use you as the punchline, but you adapt. I developed this ability to smile through the jabs, like some kind of emotional callus. When adults asked what I wanted to be when I grew up, I'd say a tax write-off, because that's how my dad referred to me when he was 3 beers in. People thought I was this witty kid. Nah, I was just repeating the household material. The night everything changed was my mom's birthday dinner. Not the actual family dinner, that was just the 4 of us at some mid-tier restaurant where Dad complained about the prices while ordering his 4th scotch. The real event was 2 days later, when my mom invited her work friends over. These weren't just any, these were the country club crowd my mom had been desperately trying to climb into for years. Our house wasn't fancy, but Mom went full Pinterest psycho for this dinner: new placemats, candles, the good plates that normally collected dust. Dad was told to wear his one decent button up and to please, for the love of God, stay under 5 drinks. Morris got the be impressive talk. I got nothing, not even a please don't embarrass me. That should have been my first clue. The night started with me playing server because Michael, be useful for once. I passed around appetizers while Mom told stories about Morris's baseball scholarship prospects. Dad managed to keep it together through the first hour, nursing his drinks while nodding at appropriate intervals. I was invisible, which was the best case scenario in these situations. Then someone asked about family planning or something. Some lady with one of those "I want to speak to the manager" haircuts said something about how expensive kids are these days. That's when it happened. My mom, 4 glasses of white wine deep, got this look I knew too well, that I've got a real zinger look. She pointed directly at me as I was collecting empty glasses. "Birth control's only 99% effective." She paused for effect. "He's the 1%. Everyone laughed, even my dad, who usually just existed in these situations, let out this belly laugh like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. I stood there, holding dirty glasses, while everyone laughed at the fact that I was never supposed to exist. Morris wasn't laughing, he was staring at his plate like he wanted to disappear. At least someone in that room had the decency to feel shame. But the worst part, my mom wasn't done. "We already had our perfect kid," she added, gesturing to Morris. "Michael here is what we call the family mistake." More laughter. Someone, I think it was my dad's boss, actually said, "Ouch, bet that's going to leave a mark." Like we were in some shitty sitcom. I didn't throw the glasses, I didn't scream, I just set them down carefully on the table and walked upstairs to my room. Nobody noticed. The conversation had already moved on to someone's vacation in Cancun. I sat on my bed and something inside me just clicked off, like when you shut down a computer that's been running too many programs. The emotional screen went blue, then black. I knew I was leaving that night. I grabbed my school backpack and dumped out the textbooks. Who needs trigonometry when you're about to be homeless, right? I packed the essentials: couple t-shirts, jeans, underwear, toothbrush, the $40 birthday money from my grandma that I'd been saving for a new game, my phone charger, the emergency Cliff bars I kept for when Dad forgot to go grocery shopping. Morris came up while I was packing. We didn't say much. He knew. He'd seen this coming before I did, probably. He handed me $120 from his own savings and his old phone that still worked but wasn't connected to the family plan. Said he'd load $20 of prepaid minutes on it the next day. "They won't even notice you're gone until tomorrow afternoon," he said. Not accusatory, just factual, like he was giving me the weather report for my journey. I almost broke then. Almost unpacked everything and crawled into bed to wake up for another day of being the family punchline. But then I heard more laughter downstairs, and my mom's voice carrying up saying something about teenager attitude problems. Nope, I was done. I waited until midnight, when the house was quiet. Mom and Dad had both passed out after their respective bottles of wine and whiskey. Morris left his desk light on, our old signal from when we were kids, and one of us was sneaking to the kitchen for snacks. All clear. I didn't leave a note. What was I going to say? "Thanks for making me feel like a cancerous growth on your perfect family for 16 years? The night was cold, late October vibes. I had nowhere to go, but that still felt better than staying. I walked until I hit the 24-hour McDonald's and used their Wi-Fi to figure out my next steps. Ended up on a Greyhound to the next city over, not too far, but far enough. First week was rough, slept at the bus station 2 nights, found a youth shelter after that. They let me stay 2 weeks while I got a dishwashing gig at this sketchy diner that didn't care I was underage. Paid cash, which was all that mattered. Morris kept in touch through this throwaway email account we set up. He said Mom cried for the cameras when she reported me missing, then complained about me always being dramatic when the police left. Dad got drunk and said I'd be back when I got hungry enough. I wasn't going back. Not when hunger twisted my stomach into knots, not when I slept in a shelter surrounded by people yelling in their sleep, not when December hit and I still didn't have a proper coat. 2 months in, I met Ronnie. He caught me sleeping in the break room at the diner when I was supposed to be on dishes. Instead of firing me, he asked why I wasn't in school. Ended up telling him everything over cold fries after closing. Turned out Ronnie had his own family mistake, different details, same flavor. He hooked me up with a gig helping on renovation jobs, under the table at first, then legit once I got my GED at 17. Even let me crash on his couch until I could afford the world's most depressing studio apartment. Those first 2 years were a blur of 12-hour days, instant ramen, and falling asleep to YouTube tutorials about taxes and credit scores on free Wi-Fi. No social life, because who had the time? Just work, save, survive. Morris graduated and went to college 3 states away. Smart move. We still email but less often. He was living his life, and I was building mine from scratch. Year 3, I started to feel almost human again, had my own place that didn't have visible mold, started community college classes online, even went on a few Tinder dates that weren't complete disasters. My parents, they finally realized I wasn't coming crawling back around month 5. Filed a missing persons report that went nowhere because I was working and paying bills under my legal name. They just weren't trying very hard to find the mistake. Morris told me they had turned my room into a home gym by my 17th birthday. Dad got my baseball card collection that was actually worth something. Mom told the neighbors I was at some special boarding school for troubled teens. That's when I decided this wasn't just about escaping anymore. This was about becoming someone they'd regret losing. Someone who'd make them realize what they threw away.